さんこんにちは。私は金沢桜木マヒナです。パオア出身の日系5世です。よろしくお願いします。アロハマイカコおマヒナ金沢桜木コウイノアのパオオアマイヤ。Hello everyone, my name is Mahina Kanazawa Sakoeki. I'm from Poa and am a 5th generation Japanese. Mahalo. This pule or prayer that I'm about to do is called Na'au Makua. It calls upon our ancestors asking for protection and guidance. Mahalo. Na'au Makua maikala hikiakala ako, maika ho'oku iaka halavai, Na'au Makua iaka hinakua, iaka hinaalo. Yaka akau I kalani o ki hai kalani o we kalani nulu kalani ka holo kalani. E yaka pula pula o ko o bridging resistance. E maalamo ko ya mako e ului kalani e ului ka honua e ului ka pai aina o Hawaii. E ho mai ka ike, e ho mai ka ikaika, e ho mai ka mai, e ho mai ka maupupu pono, e ho mai ka ike papa lua, e ho mai ka mana. Amama uanoa.
Aloha kako. My name is Katana. This is DJ S2 Pono or S2 Pono. We're coming to you in the beautiful valley of Pauoa on the island of Oahu. We're coming together with you to bridge resistance. What you just heard was S2 Pono's daughter Mahina, who is a gose and lifelong charter school keiki or child who is in the genealogy of knowledge of Kanaka Maoli. We felt like it was important to open up with the Japanese language as well as the Hawaiian language to highlight that the Hawaiian language is the language of the land in which we stand. And it's important to honor this history and this genealogy and push the ways that we're thinking about being in relationship with one another to truly bridge resistance. All we ask today as we bring to you almost 2 hours of poetry, hip hop, music, dance. We don't ask for a penny. We ask that you be open to following and supporting these artists and the causes in which they have dedicated their life to. Now it's time to bridge resistance.
We received a video submission just before broadcast and quickly realized the historical significance of what we all are about to see. This artist represents a people that the world refers to as Aleut, a name imposed on her ancestors by Russian colonizers. Unanga is the native name for her people, a people who have faced atrocities and war crimes at the hands of the Japanese and U.S. governments, which stole her ancestors, the people of Attu Island, from their land and held Attuans as prisoners of war who faced unthinkable violence. Please see the links in the description so that you can hear from the voices of the Unanga themselves about the war crimes that they have survived, a history that is often erased. As soon as I saw this video submission, I knew that I wanted to greet Helena with my Kanaka Maoli and Ainu family in celebration of this important moment where the Unanga language is spoken freely and publicly, defying colonial violence. As Hawaiians, we understand how huge this feat is. After the illegal occupation of Hawaii, the Hawaiian language was banned, and in just 2 generations, the Hawaiian language was nearly gone. Even though we now have Hawaiian culture and language immersion schools today, only 2% of the population in Hawaii actually speak the Hawaiian language. As Kirill Ainu, we consider the Unanga our cousins. We have genetic and cultural similarities. We were also stolen from our land and suffered greatly at the hands of colonial Japan. My son, Maluhia, would like to say, which means, let my heart touch your heart. Welcome to Bridging Resistance, Helena. May the Unanga language persevere for generations to come.
Hi, my name's Helena. Sasinach Uting. I am Attuan. And a significant reason why a lot of our culture is lost and our language is lost is because of what happened during World War II and due to the Japanese government. And I wanted to read Attuan as part of a resistance in that, in hopes that we can gain back what was lost. And I hope you enjoy it. It is called Atalung. I am not sure what it means, but I still will read it. Tayaguh malukach malukum angalech inangun ayagu yugen sukru hital hitayagum hungem il amagayaya kalinach matama hungi tayagum ilam amagayaya na trakalaka ilam amakayam hisah haksaku sangan agaluki ki ungas hitachinach angali hakakukach na askruyukich avachtanan saglukanan tal tayakum sagan agaluki ungachta ukruhtanach gita hitaka hitachika tama tayaku huyu unach atalung asatana tama askigi ulan hnukum atalung agacha sagan agaluki ungata hikta ulan nunach matama hungi igan chuvil ten ukuninach avim iltama tayagu ilam ukayam hisa haksaku kitigan agingi isel ilagam hitachina inga kilach ten ayuginalaka angalinach ke aniki kiyanach ukututal tamalei umusal anu tasaki ukuluta he askiki uyach chisuka huyuatalung avim ilsu kuna ageyugchim itigan kuga kitaki hatsas kitam agengi isil kuna uyach takum kial angalich tal iki hiul hnu luka matamaya kiasikum asachanach ketama anakilahich makinich asachtanang trakalaka sukrukam tennas asach anutasakaki ketama hungi huyun asach higuku na he uyakegiam chiyaka akatal angachaki alakanach huyun geni tamuku sakaku imi saguli sakakin imi saguli sam hachar hitsakana angachagi suku chivenu ayuginiyaya hakakalinach usasikum chimika hayagaya hakal taga haks tamahungen atin tul alagum he uyakalinach alaguh nul il agal tayakukunach nanguyach angel takakum ayagakunach ki ka kuyach angel takanach. And thank you for letting me speak that sacred language in this open mic. It hasn't really been spoken that much in about 46 years, so that is a big deal. Thank you.
Coming up, we have our first artist, Scott Ohtoro. Scott is a well-known DJ and producer in Honolulu as well as in Los Angeles. Today, Scott's piece talks about a very personal history that his family has with World War II incarceration.
My name is Ohtoro. I'm a music producer, beat maker, educator, and owner of Zenbu Records. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and now I'm living in Honolulu, Hawaii. My dad's from Kailua, Oahu, and my mom, she was born in a Japanese internment camp in Colorado. She had cousins that fought in the 442nd. They had to prove their loyalty, so they're fighting for America, only to come back to visit their family in internment camps. Like most Japanese Americans that were interned, they never really talked about it to their kids, so I didn't really know that much, because my mom never talked about it. I'm working on music that's going to tell the story about my mom and about the other Japanese Americans that were interned in camps throughout the US. This song is called Jacaranda. Didn't talk about it. Wars though, no knows read about it. Thought it was just a one-off, but history repeats and we gotta stand off again. Born in a world so cold yet so powerful, like a diamond from a coal. A wonderful soul with a story to be told about Campamachi in Colorado. That's where my mom was born, into a family of farmers with samurai swords. Too prosperous with the enemy face, they had to put their life into one suitcase. My mom doesn't have many memories, but there's one thing that she told. They could intern our body with all of their time, but one thing they can't intern is our mind. They could intern our body with all of their time, but one thing they can't intern is our mind.
This next artist is a well-known MC and educator in our islands. He dedicates his time teaching the children of Hawaii rhythm and rhyme through sound shop. They call him the ill nomadic. He is a researcher, he is a scholar, he is a good friend of ours. We are so honored to have him at this event today. Please welcome Navid.
Kick that, DJ. S2 Pon on the ones and twos. I am El Nomadic in solidarity. Listen, I'm a thoroughbred born in the year of the horse. But in right now, yo, I speak from the source. Through forced displacement, had to flee from the shores of my birthland, crushed by religion and wars. Right, I am not for the faint of heart, a leopard-headed eagle from the people who've been torn apart. Permanent scars across my Persian diaspora. Solar revolution sent our children to the borders to die. Direct orders from God, mothers screaming, they cry. Mullahs screaming jihad, the Ayatollah survived. The propaganda aligned with what the West had designed. Eliminated Mossadegh, it's just a matter of time. Manoto mislahami, ka'asid and yet ami. Toy that hawk e batan, manam inja, be batan. Manam inja, yeah. I hugged my grandfather right before we left Iran. A poet and musician, he would always sing these songs. Tales of Rostam, the great hero of our people, outsmarting all the demons, overpowering the evil. He told me of the days when our ancestors gave the world the first call for human rights and freed the slave. The cylinder of Cyrus, the Zoroaster fire is still burning strong, the truth seared into my iris. Yeah. Manoto mislahami. اسیر یک غمی توی در خاک وطن منم اینجا بی وطن من و تو درد و غمی هم دل در یک بدنی درد تو درد من است غم دوری وطن هم با من است غم دوری وطن هم با من است Yeah. So once again, I'm nomadic, born and raised in Tehran, Iran. Left when I was 8 years old due to war, due to colonization, due to global oppression. Grew up in New York, spent a lot of time in the city, spent a lot of time with friends, building, learned how to speak English through hip-hop music. And in 2001, right after 9/11, my experience changed because all of a sudden I became the enemy. So in solidarity with those that have been through this experience, for the Japanese Americans that were interned in concentration camps, when one day they were friends, then the next day they became enemies. These are important lessons, these are important moments in history that should not be forgotten. And it's important that we speak about these things and we celebrate them and we bring awareness to them. And there's no better way of bringing awareness, in my opinion, than through music and creativity, and hip-hop is a vehicle for that. Yeah. We singing songs of freedom in sacred circles and teaching solutions to bring you through the pursuit. Evolution come through on the goals that you set for yourself. Practice love, it's hard work, but it's good for your health. The proof found in the pudding, as long as it's still organic. Got singularity pushes looming over the planet. Assuming we love the fakeness, intentional entertainment, disassociating choices, forced annihilation. But I'm addicted to reality, my only motivation. Break the outer darkness where the dragon is kept caged in. I'm a native West Asian. The term Middle East, a colonial designation. On the plantation, they control the information. Cast spells with good spelling, but I'm lost in translation. Not falling for the words of the traps they got us placed in. The story's filled with lies like Hawaii's annexation. Like Hawaii's annexation. Their stories filled with lies like Hawaii's annexation. So speak the truth while you can. Speak the truth with the mic in your hand. In solidarity, I'm nomadic. S2 Pon, take us out of here.
Up next, and you're gonna want to stick around for this, we have Kamuela Kahoano. Kamuela is an entertainer extraordinaire. He is a singer, he is a producer, he's produced my album, he's toured all around the world from Hawaii to Australia to Japan as a solo artist. Today he dedicates a special song to our Tadaima crew. Welcome to Bridging Resistance, Kamuela. artist coming at you out of the island of Molokai. Paniolo Prince and his queen Maile have been educators in our islands as well as solid kia'i protecting our aina. They combine Olelo Hawaii as well as hip-hop for a real treat for us today as we are bridging resistance. If you are interested in learning Olelo Hawaii or the Hawaiian language, Maile also teaches classes out of Hale Hoaka. Visit her link to learn more about Hawaiian language and culture.
Velina me ke aloha. I'm Queen Maile.
Aloha.
The other
Aloha.
half of Paniolo Prince and his Queen Maile. And we wanted to perform our song, a mele for you, entitled Never Leave This Place. It's a song that speaks of loving your home so much, but with all this turmoil going on in the world, we never know when we might be faced with having to leave home, whatever it might be. And so, you know, having that deep aloha ena, love for home, wherever it might be, especially living in Hawaii, helps us to connect to all of our other ethnicities and our motherlands that our kupuna came from all across the world. So this is our mele, Never Leave This Place.
I love what you said. Let's go.
I would never ever leave this place, but what if they had guns in your face, spraying you with mace, and your family disappear with no evidence and no trace? I'd still never leave this place, but what if your family space got sold and replaced and you got chased out? Too brown was the color of your face. I'd still never leave this place, but what if your fate is locked to sacred things, locked in a case in some far off place, left there like you to rot and waste? I'd still never leave this place, but what if every space of your place had a trace? Poison and plastic, contaminated, tragic, and you gotta exodus to space. Settle down, no fuss, no fight. Be original, no need cover or bite. Just do us, fat Nazi, hammer down and bust. Paniolo go for the gusto, not a scrub gon' bite does. Make music to fight for what's right. My lyrics woven tight, highlight, make bright, shine the light on our people's plight. Go viral heights overnight. Scream I am here like all might. In the aina I trust, money I have no lust. Stop all the minusing cuz it's a must to use the plus symbol. Nifty and nimble, knuckle up, throw down like Jorge Masvidal with Slice Kimball. Make Babylon bells go jingle like Kris Kringle. I'm your Huckleberry boy, you Johnny Ringle. Bingle bangle, sidestepping, hitting combos and angles, tattooing triangle, you star spangle. Never ever leave this place.
This next artist has been delighting audiences for over 27 years. Her dancing skills have taken her from Hawaii to Asia to Egypt. Get ready for Poetry in Motion and Miss Willow Chang.
China Kappa jumps to 2 feet creep up the road. To photo, to record me lumps and war. Their ancestors is Chang-Rukka. Very yellow white flash. A violent red Christmas with slight tails lift like grass. But so high from the leak avalanche, mine is a watery pit. Painless with immense distance from medic, from colleague, friend, enemy, foe. In 5 years, from his leg, from Utah. Do not spray into eyes. I have sprayed you into my eyes. Rattle as chokes, oh colors and cares, glazed to grey, shriveled and stricken to dots. The left hand grasp what the body grasps not. The photographic more. 3.1415 alive, no longer my more. Faded for home in 54, doors open like arms, my love. With a great closeness to Kappa, dark after nothing reunited with his neck and with Utah.
When we were planning this event, many young Nikkei on the continental US were telling us we have to include Lauren Ito. Lauren is a multi-talented artist and a poet laureate out of San Francisco by way of Seattle. Lauren is bringing that Gosei energy to the Bridging Resistance event today.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the invitation to share some poetry with you all for this event. My name is Lauren Emiko Ito. I am a Gosei, born and raised in the Seattle area and currently in the Bay on Ohlone land. I will be offering a few poems that I've written and closing with a poem by the incredible mentor, friend, force for change, activist, second laureate of San Francisco, and co-founder of Glide Memorial, Janice Mirkatani. Janice passed fairly recently, and it's been really hard on the community here in the Bay especially, but her legacy, her life, all of the futures that she pointed us towards so powerfully are very much ways in which I feel like we will carry her lineage forward of radical reimagining and seeing all of ourselves as forces for change. And with that, I will start with my first poem, which is titled Arrival as We. It was actually written and inspired by a conversation that I had with Janice, in which she encouraged me to write towards the light. And this is the poem that was birthed. Arrival as We. Thousands of women hum in my blood, forced to play God, cradled their knives with a gentle hand, lifted gazes to the horizon and summoned air, tucked it into laugh lines, a teacup, a birthmark, a prayer, for generations yet to unfurl, knowing breath is never promised, always, especially these days, always, always. Remember this, inhaling sunrise and bird song, we never arrive alone. This next poem is dedicated to anyone who's wanting to know more about their family histories, but having a complicated time accessing them. This is dedicated to my paternal grandparents. Lessons in Love. Grandma, what was it like before the war? Silence. Do you remember where you were the day of Pearl Harbor? Silence. How did you and Grandpa know that you didn't belong? Silence. My grandmother taught me sometimes love sounds like silence. The craft of forgetting, a language of practiced protection. Let me love you until pain only rattles in your marrow without seeping into skin. Let me love you until chosen stories evaporate from the mouths of your sons and daughters. Let me love you so you won't be torn in two by a country that never learned how to reciprocate love. Her stubborn tongue loved and loved and loved through our questions until her last breath. Rewriting our creation stories, I excavate love languages, weave poems from the fossils. Artifacts must be inherited. This next poem is titled, How Do You Answer? Soil, skin, and sky hum beneath constellations whose light we breathe deep into our lungs, even if we can't see the stars sparkle just yet. When a dream speaks in languages passed down from generation to generation, how do you answer with both feet? We affirm truths in what's cradled sacred between fingertips, converging round a tapestry that calls us back to ourselves. Some for healing, some for strategizing a path, some for shelter, some a canvas for paint, or prayers, or poems. We do as we must, arms stretched out to one another, collectively summoning horizons beyond this one. where a child giggles, exclaiming, "Look at all the stars." I will close with this poem titled "We the Dangerous" by the giant who walked among us. That was Janice Mirkatani. If you do not have one of Janice's books, I would highly encourage you to pick up at least 3 or 4, maybe 5. Her work has been deeply transformational, and again is the reason why I write, the reason why I see myself as a poet. And I'm honored to be one of the many, many, many people of her lineage of poetry today. We the Dangerous. I swore it would not devour me. I swore it would not humble me. I swore it would not break me. And they command we dwell in the desert, our children the spawn of barbed wire and barracks. We closer to the earth, squat, short-thighed, knowing the dust better, and they would have us make the garden, rake the grass to soothe their feet. We, akin to the jungle, plodding with the snake, tails shedding in civilized America. And they would have us skin their fish, deft hands like blades sliding back flesh, bloodless. We, who awaken the river, ocean's child, whale eater, and they would have us strange, scented women, round shoulders, strong and yellow like the moon, to pull the thread to the cloth to loosen their backs, massaged in myth. We who till the secret bed, the sweatshop, the laundries, and they would dress us in napalm, skin shred to clothe the earth, bodies filling pockmarked fields, dead fish bloating our harbors. We the dangerous, dwelling in the ocean, akin to the jungle, close to the earth. Hiroshima, Vietnam, Tule Lake. And yet we were not devoured, and yet we were not humbled, and yet we are not broken.
After a month long of Tadaima sessions where we were learning about and reflecting on how World War II has inadvertently affected the Nikkei population as well as indigenous people and their land, we asked Pono Torres to be a part of this event. He chose for us a Hawaiian mele, which talks about the beauty of Hawaii, which cannot and never will be broken.
Aloha everyone. Kekoa, Lopes-Torres-Date, no mauna laha mai au. And today, I'd like to share a mele with you folks. Thank you for having me. This mele, I'd like to bring a little hope and unity to all Native people and in support of everyone's goals and drive as Native people and continuing to be the best people that we can be. And I'd like to do that today through this song. This song I'd like to do for you folks, a song entitled White Sandy Beach of Hawaii. And it was actually written by William Dan. And not much people knew him, but this song was made famous by Brother Iz. And this song to me brings a lot of hope and pride as a people of Hawaii, talking about our beautiful white sandy beaches and all the good things life have to offer. So with that said, mahalo again for having me. This mele goes a little something like this. I saw you in my dream. We were walking hand in hand on a white sandy soothes my restless soul. Sounds of the ocean rocks me all night long. Oh, those hot, warm summer days, lying there in the sun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii, on a white sandy beach of Hawaii.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Alaska in the house with a super talented artist straight out of Juneau. It's not about black, it's not about white, it's about the color jazz.
We're here to bridge people together, right? Bridging people together takes some vibrance, takes some color, some living color. And I'm going to present to you the color jazz. You feel me? Yeah. There's a certain color to the jazz. Negrosity. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. Palette full of colors, extra dope, whole of the spectroscope. Wavelength gives strength that's vibrant enough to sketch our clothes. Culture vultures and ultraviolet, some test your coats. A rainbow halo, angel shade of Michelangelo. Be Galileo, look up at the moon. My jazz saloon's up there, move your ass, chikoon. Tune into a whirlwind world, this world's with northern lights. The purple circles turn earth more than Christ. Your shoegazy is glass slipper from Cinderella. You're too hazy, big ass stipper, you're interstellar. Been moon gazing and ass strippers, what did I tell ya? You get sillier, you're more familiar with the simplest nation in civilization. Assembling races so indigenous native trees can grow. A famo man grove, let the plan go. We the plant code, and oh damn yo camo. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. The color jazz, look in the glass. I can bypass cloud C color real fast. Couple miles from where Dave is, that tattoo fam. We like to talk that jazz like a Utah fan. When I'm in set, flow is so butterfly. In fact, y'all, there's no other. I'm here for my sisters and all of my brothers. His fist in the sky, he screamed for his mother. Architect, the painter, Renaissance classism. Raphael with paintbrush, bring daggers to fascism. Let's let the racists catch the fade again. Cut them up like clippers, bring the fade in. Check it, lend me your ears. No Van Gogh, ride on these heifers, now watch the Van Gogh. Full throttle on the gas, so we can't let up. They just heard they late and they can't catch up. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. The color jazz, looking through the glass, put you to the test. The color jazz, laugh your stupid ass, have a bazooka blast. My natives got the color jazz. It's what all of you know it as, yeah. The color jazz. It's what you know it as. So blast it. The pizzazz of jazz will get your ass kicked. So blast it. The pizzazz of jazz will get your ass kicked. So blast it. The pizzazz of jazz will get your ass kicked. So blast it. This right here, the new classic. It takes a vibrancy to build this bridge. And with the color of jazz, we know what it is.
Kaze is coming at you from the LA hip hop scene. It's so important to support our Nisei brothers in art, as well as our Nisei brothers who are using their voice to support social justice. Let's listen up to hear what Kaze has to say.
Go for broke 442. Salute. My name is Kaze Jones. I am a Japanese Nisei hip-hop artist and an educator. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be part of this Bridging Resistance program. Today is actually my father's birthday. So, otanjoubi omedetou gozaimasu and yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I will be performing a piece called Go for Broke. Big shout out to the Go for Broke National Education Center. My vocalist, producer, mentor, Ariano, could not be here, unfortunately. But I hope you enjoy it. I'd also like to shed light on someone that recently passed, legendary Don Seki of the 442. Started February 7, 1942. I was sitting up in my living room just eating miso soup. Turned the dials up on the radio. Heard the Alpha news that the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, that we were doomed, all East as deemed enemies. The Nisei were to the next generation of Japanese Americans were soon to be associated with the rising sun, that we were in cahoots. From the garden of the mechanic to the corporate wearing suits, right in the houses door to door, going one by one. We were robbed of our belongings, all surrounded by guns. Family crests torn down with our samurai swords that then confiscated by the government, breaking in homes now. Relocated, slid up to several lands issued for President Roosevelt into internment camps. How could a country that'll love a place that was born think us swore allegiance to the enemy? But they were wrong. Bullets fly outside, so we go for broke. Bullets fly outside, so we go for broke. My family stuck in Manzanar, best friends in Hot Mountain, cause we were locked away from a country we weren't allowed it. But by the help of Secretary John McCloy, a specialized Nisei combat unit was to deploy the full 42nd Regiment, the 100th Battalion, a group of second generation Japanese that were so then. We were shipped off to southern France to search the ones we lost. Gaddafi, the Germans, after enemy lines were crossed. They were covered by a dense fog, explosions of trees, bullets and heavy shrapnel bringing soldiers to the knees. Boys fought for their own lives and all those now deceased, so the family overseas could be respected as human beings. Tommy gun in one hand, grenade in the other. My right elbow was shut off by an enemy gunner. Got the native from a severed hand and threw it in the crowd. Took out heavy artillery, your boys advanced ground. Bullets fly outside, so we go for broke. Bullets fly outside, so we go for broke. The 442 battle through Italy, France, and Germany. Joined with the 2nd and 100th Band, convergently executed all of a mission order so perfectly, cause we blow with purple hearts with a sense of urgency. We were deemed full C, that's enemy alien, degraded by your neighbors, no longer were homo sapiens. United States shut us out, we were forsaken, so we pushed through so many barriers that we planned to break it. Every fortification we conquered, it was a statement. The needs said we go for broke, and we were patriots, so we fought against prejudice, and we are living proof for what no other human being should ever go through. Outside, so we go for broke. Bullets fly outside, so we go for broke. Moment of silence just for all those that we lost throughout this pandemic. It's been a crazy time. including my Obachan who passed during the pandemic. You know, over in LA, we are having some issues. Some of the elderly, to my knowledge, I think there were some 442 100th members who were in some of the senior convalescent home facilities. They are being pushed out. So, you know, bridging resistance, I think it's a time that we all need to come together, not only as a Japanese American community, but, you know, we need to stand up for those who cannot voice for themselves, who may not have the resources, who may not have the knowledge or the power or the know-how to get through this. So, you know, a professor of mine from UCLA told me that if you are a true revolutionary, that you must be a revolutionary for all. So whether it's ageism, LGBTQ, racism, there's so many different issues that we can shed light upon. So hopefully you can hone in your skills, your knowledge, your time, your power towards at least one and try to bring about change. And if, you know, synergistically, if we all come about and unify as one, I think we can make a great impact on not only at the local level, the micro, but the macro level. And hopefully the future generations will be able to live their life happily. All right, go for broke 442. Kaze Jones, shimasu. Yoroshiku onegai. Thank you so much, Kimiko, for having me. Bridge resistance. Blow!
So DJ S2 Pono and I, we're of the Yonsei generation. Our ancestors came to Hawaii, into the Hawaiian kingdom, where our ancestors received shelter from the Hawaiian kingdom. I am so proud of these artists that are coming up. They are called the Nikkei resistors. They use their voice to talk about injustice. They use their positionality as the Nikkei diaspora to talk about Asian settler colonialism and how we have this responsibility as Nikkei to stand in alliance with Kanaka Maoli and the indigenous people of Turtle Island. Mahalo to the Nikkei resistors for taking part in this event. This is how we truly bridge resistance.
Nikkei Resistors is a coalition of organizers that were politicized by the remembrance of World War II atrocities to fight for liberation today. Through this work, we were inspired by this quote from the book, As We Have Always Done, Indigenous Freedom Through Radical Resistance by Leanne Betta-Smoke Simpson. In seeking to answer the question of how to create an ecology of intimacy to build what Simpson identifies as a nation of radiating responsibilities, especially when racial capitalism and settler imperialism has sought to sever these bonds, we formed a monthly study group called the Community in Collaboration Project, also referred to as COCO Project. We chose cocoa in remembering that to make delicious takuan cocoa, it requires intentional preparation and collectivity. We use this metaphor as a guide for this project, where we hope to deepen our political unity and commitment to a vision of liberation, much like how our ancestors developed the long process of pickling to transform what we have now into something that can nourish us in the future. We hope that through this thoughtful preparation, we can prepare our Nikkei communities to be ready to arrive at the bridge of resistance through refusing indoctrination and a proliferation of violence through the Japanese state, and instead cultivating a shared sense of responsibility and nurturing our interconnection. We thank the Bridging Resistance organizers for allowing us to participate and share some of our reflections from our study group. In this video, Lynn, Yumi, and Kristen will be sharing with you all today. Thank you.
The yomogi in my garden shows me how to be present on this land, to be far from home and moving toward right relationship. In the springtime, the lupin tells me I can live, can care for the land. The budding bean vines say to me, they're teaching me how to love, to care and stand in awe. My great auntie remembers how her father grew sunflowers in every camp they were incarcerated. She remembers heaps, piles of trash burning. Our bodies hold generations, time moving in circles. I came to be alive on earth, to be whole, to be a process.
Living in diaspora like many, I have been questioning my place on these colonized lands for much of my life, whether I had the words to pair the emotions or not. In no way Does the search for my own ancestral ground mean I am evading the responsibilities I hold as a guest of Ohlone soil? So I face the relative east and see a beacon of light lit by my ancestors, yet I hold many weights in my being. There is much to be done there, reminding myself and others that Japanese imperialism is not historical. It still lives on in the facade of statehood and so-called democracy. Much work to be done, much work to be done. Much like the states, much like the world, much work to be done.
When I was little, I always had this eerie sense that my dad was afraid of me and saw me as a dangerous thing that had to be contained at all cost. I wondered where this came from, since I didn't see myself that way at all. But over the years, being treated like that led me to internalize it as an inherent truth. It had absorbed into my body this idea that I was dangerous and not to be trusted. I only recently realized that this was generational trauma because my dad had been made to feel like that from his dad, and his dad had literally been treated like that from the US government, who categorized him as a threat and a dangerous person and incarcerated him during World War II. The systemic dehumanization that was put into my body, that was put into the body of my grandparents, just kept being passed down from generation to generation. And when I understood the origin of this feeling, it helped me to see who the real enemy was, so I could fight against it in a way that could help all people.
Coming to you from Makaha, we have the award-winning hip-hop artist Punahele. Wherever there's an injustice, Punahele will be there. Punahele created this song special for bridging resistance to educate the audience about his experiences as a Kia Ion Mauna Kea, beat made by Rukka The Magnificent.
Aloha mai kako, o wau o Punahele, no makaha mai au, o kaya ulu a me pu'u ka'ala, ku'u mau makani, o ka'ala a me lahi lahi, ku'u mau mauna. Hello everyone, my name is Punahele, reporting to you guys live from Manoa, Hawaii. I'm from Makaha, Hawaii, and my mountains are Lahi Lahi and Ka'ala, and my winds are Pu'u Ka'ala a me kaya ulu. Today, for this project, I got to link up with a very good friend of mine by the name of BN5 Stacks, who is a Black and Samoan producer from Nanapuli, Hawaii. We linked up together to create a song and a live performance about our time on Mauna Kea. Gee. They try to erase us and they try to down us. Since they don't listen, they'll see us on the Mauna. They act like we don't matter, but we was here first. They came here on planes and we came from the dirt. They say we never cared, but we always did. Only the unrighteous see silence as consent. Hawaiian place of learning, I do not get it. How can you represent us if you don't respect our wishes? They talk about aloha, but they know nothing about living it. They use free speech to protect white supremacists for expressing our rights. They're trying to give us big fines. We're prepared to risk it all and put our lives on the line. Kapu aloha, defend the sacred. We are not anti-science, we are anti-desecration. Tell the media to make their corrections. We are protectors, not protesters. So if the Aina's on the line, then I would never run. If we gotta bring the flames, I'm out, we pulling down the sun. They disrespect my culture and they claim to be Pono. They stop the development, defend Ohiki Lolo. You know how we roll, we kill oppressors on the track and go tell the military that we want Makua back. Protect Mauna Kea, protect Pohaku Law. They tried to silence us, but my people taking over. More knowledge, more wisdom, all these young Hawaiians driven. Because our ancestors signed a coup and petition. East side, west side, any side and every side. It doesn't matter anyway, cause we got that Hawaiian pride. Love for my people, not a heart filled with hatred. But how can the non-Hawaiians say our sacred sites is sacred? I'm the dark side killer. shake your uli uli. Hawaiian patriots here to make the system hooli. And they tried to make us mad when they cut the flag in half. Hawaiians directing Hawaiians for a check. That is sad, we the evidence, not the crime. Standing here is living proof. If you come in the night, you hear the sound of the poo. There should be no back line at a front line camp. Hamaka maka action like that, no can. If you make my people hurt, you will become my enemy. When you pee loud, it destroys your legacy. No retreating, Mother Earth is weeping. If we come together, we will never be defeated. I will not stand by and watch my people suffer. Till death do us part, I am married to the struggle. I stand for my people, I rise for my people. I put that work in and I grind for my people. Provide for my people, I ride for my people. I live for my people when I die for my people.
Woo! DJ S2 Pono and I are so excited about this next group of artists that we have coming at you. They're coming at you straight out of the island of Palau and are in fact among the hottest acts out of Palau. It might surprise you to know that many Micronesians are actually of the Nikkei diaspora. Stick around, you don't want to miss Date Street Records.
Ali, nakagasod. Program na rin kay yung Date Street Records. Malumila ang maman may part of the event. Help support with the matubig sa event ng Timang. So, Palau has a very long and strong connection with Japanese since my grandfather's days. We want our music to bring hope and consciousness to people in their own struggles, much like Micronesians in Hawaii. So, we will keep connecting with other people to spread positivity and aloha. Our next song is Teddy Bear from our latest album, and we hope you enjoy the song. Mahalo.
Everybody has been so excited to hear this well-known poet who is an outstanding featured artist and Grand Slam champion straight out of Seattle. Let's hear it for Troy Osaki. Big, big, big snaps, everybody.
Hey everyone, what's going on? My name's Troy, he, him pronouns. I'm calling in from Seattle, Washington. Thank you to Tadaima for hosting today's Bridging Resistance event. I am Yonsei Gosei, meaning 4th, 5th generation Japanese American, depending on which grandparent you follow. And I feel very fortunate to have a grandma who is very open about her experiences growing up here in the States, and particularly open about her experiences with incarceration during the war. At the time, she was about 9 or 10, and she was living here in Seattle, and her dad was the Buddhist priest at the Seattle Buddhist Temple. Since he was a community leader, he was seen as a higher level of threat to national security. And as a result, he was sent to multiple prison camps around the country, Louisiana, Montana, New Mexico, and then finally Texas. And while he was separated from the rest of his family, everyone else was sent to Minidoka, Idaho, including my grandma. And it wasn't until 3 years later that they were able to reunite. And so learning about my grandma's experience through this all really moved me to not only spread awareness about this history, but to also organize people and to fight against the systems that cause these brutal and violent conditions, mainly capitalism and imperialism. So I have a poem I'd like to share with you all tonight, and it's dedicated to both my grandma and my grandpa, and I hope it moves folks to continue pushing forward, especially those who are organizing against these systems, and those who are just surviving it every day. So thank you all for inviting me. I hope you enjoyed this poem. It's titled, "My grandparents plant a pear tree in the backyard of their home in Northeast Portland. When my grandpa asks, 'Say, how many jars do you think we have left?' My grandma replies, 'Gosh, at least 6 or 7. They offer me a pint of slices they canned months before. Tell me how canned pears last years beyond expected. I trust that what they know about preservation is airtight. When the season is kind, they gather a bundle of barrel-shaped fruits, bury a handful of wedges beneath 2 splashes of water, then sprinkle in sugar before sealing them snug. I'm not surprised my grandparents know preservation like a past life, like they've practiced for centuries now. For as long as I've known them, they've kept this family alive. Once, before tending to a backyard full of fruits, my grandpa was a school teacher. In his first interview, he was told the school board chairman doesn't like Japs. And rather than let the corners of his body bruise like a rotting peel, he replied, "Is that right, you say? He doesn't like Japs. Well then, I'll take the job." Before that, my grandma was snatched from her family's grove, boxed away in a warehouse made of barbed wire. She found sugar in whatever wicked shelf America shoved her in. And still, when the war ended, it didn't disappear. Years later, in a schoolhouse hallway, a boy who smelled of famine yelled, "You must be mad because your country lost." And I don't know if any word has been invented for that kind of patience, to soothe a rage that would burn 1,000 acres of orchard if given the chance. Maybe miracle is the closest I can think of. Maybe my grandparents are so good at not giving up. They gain another life whenever someone fails to poison the patch of soil they breathe on. Maybe in a past life, they were blooming pears that outlasted the coldest winter.
So we said from the beginning when we were thinking about how we want to produce this event, we knew that we didn't want to just have shallow displays of solidarity. We truly wanted to bridge resistance. This next artist is multi-talented. He's a producer. He's a beat maker. He can freestyle off the dome for days at a time. This guy got lyrics. We present to you Rukka the Magnificent. My son knows him as Mr. Rukka because he's a well-known educator in the islands, teaching kids hip-hop, poetry, and how to write. He's just an overall extraordinary person. In this rhyme, he asks, can we really obtain justice? Let's find out.
Hello everyone, I'm Rukka the Magnificent, being 5 Stacks, born and raised out of Nanakuli, Hawaii. I'm a producer, engineer, and MC, also a teaching artist. Today I've created an instrumental and added a few verses on top. I hope you enjoy. Let's rise like the mighty waves.
Somebody let the truth of this freedom ring so our people could sing. Difficult today and tomorrow, we live it chasing this dream. True American fiends been brainwashed to cop the cream. Keep forgetting of all the love and spreading all of the peace. To the people who we be forever roots of the tree. Euphemism speaks, only pushing negativity. We were born to be free, a congregation of queens and kings confined to solitude and forge around beneath. So my people learn and rise, and a nation built on lies. You free the poison of the mind with knowledge, we can reach the sky. Limitless opportunities present themselves throughout time. But time itself tells stories of corruption is the only wise. Mass infliction, force of demise. Our people steady unite to teach the keiki something better in hopes to get it right. All we need in this lifetime is change. No matter what, there's someone always trying to take it away. So yeah, and this is why I'm staying lit up. Been forever low, and it's the only way I get up. So the broke stay broke, and the rich hoping we give up. Either way you put it, is there justice for us? Nah, and this is why I'm staying lit up. Been forever low, and it's the only way I get up. So the broke stay broke, the rich hoping we give up.
Either way you put it, is there justice? All across the globe, there's people losing their souls. No knowledge of our culture, cause our voice and land was stole. Man, you see it happening, it's right in front of our face. We can destroy the competition, but not the jealousy of the brains. I hope we all can maintain positive movements of the mana. Lay them in the grave so in the future they can't harm us. Hickey screaming cowabunga as they dive into the sea. Sad to say the freedom of our people still a dream. Surreal as can be, that chocolate sour not sweet. To open up crib doors, hopping across Pacific seas is where I want to be eventually. Not down in these streets, wondering can the Ina live or how Martha feels overseeing all this bull-ish, about time for that good-ish. Positive movements leave no errors to ever lose this. Beautiful mind state, we all can find a way. Push forward, grind hard, never let the time waste. It's all about you at the end of the day and the work you put in forth to bring the pockets of change. If you feel lost in the dark, the Yahweh got the way. We can't stop now, we driven. It's time to break these chains. And this is why I stay lit up, been forever low, and it's the only way I get up. Said the broke stay broke, the rich open we give up. Either way you put it, is the justice for us? Now this is why I'm staying lit up, been forever low, and it's the only way I get up. Said the broke stay broke, the rich open we give up. Either way you put it, is the justice for us?
You know her, you love her, you just saw her dance. This entertainer extraordinaire does it all. She dances, she teaches dance, she sings. She's been the lead singer in the islands for over 20 years. Now we're gonna hear her drop some poetry on us today for Bridging Resistance. Miss Willow Chang.
Aloha, my name is Willow Chang, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm very much honored to be a part of this year's Bridging Resistance, and I wholeheartedly believe in the purpose and the necessity of finding the intersectionality of advocacy and activism, as well as exploring identity. In my poetry that I'll share with you, I hope you find that there is interest and value in these several concepts. One of them is impermanence, something that I find challenging on a day-to-day basis. Isn't it so often that we cling to the things that are familiar, or perhaps create mythology around memories or what we thought once was? The other topic that I like to write about with frequency is this concept of wabi-sabi that is credited to the Japanese culture. In this space, we find ways to celebrate things that are worn or natural or even broken, and celebrate the beauty in those advanced states. And lastly, of course, identity, which is both fluid and forever changing, and always defined by the person who is having the experience themselves. Thank you so much for listening. The penny candy and holiday ornaments. And of archaeology, we crouch down, huddled to the earth, terra firma and terracotta, dirt under our fingernails, dancing between sun-kissed and sunburnt, wind-blown and wind-burned, furiously looking for clues, yet taking our time, blowing away the dust, anticipating a great reveal of what once was and what will never be. And today's ruins, memories of the way we were, films seen in movie palaces, the animation of celluloid, and the seduction of cinema in the back row, launched a million stolen kisses, and screen goddesses made every girl think, what if? Do you hear the Nickelodeon, the pipe organ, the jukebox, playing our tune? We get up to dance, losing our sense of time, but never our rhythm. And what of empty lots, where the drive-in was king, dreaming under stars overhead, and long walks giggling to the snack bar stand, the dime store, the soda fountain, the penny candy and holiday ornaments, goldfish and the bowl for a few bucks, the automat down the street, rotating pudding and conveyor belt sandwiches made such pedestrian fare otherworldly. and the fabric store, with bolts galore, and buttons, and beads, and zippers, and threads in every color, shape, and size. When you knew how to sew, it made you feel creative and wise. And the little dry goods store, peddling trinkets from faraway lands, things to adore. When you wash the earth off your hands, palaka today, put the yukata away in a tansu until obon. Bring out what was grandma's fan, exotic now, but from her old homeland. Dolls and games, painted fish to fly overhead in early May skies. My heart flies, races and rumples, my soul crumples into a heap, knowing we couldn't keep the movie palace in place, the drive-in for outdoor inspiration, the automat that was a welcome mat for the elderly, crestfallen, nostalgic, and hungry, the fabric store that pushed us to create more, and the dry goods store which sold goodies with lore of the way we were and what we wanted to be. That made us not dig in the dirt, but deep into the psyche. Who are we? Do we know? The search is perhaps why we tear down, bulldoze and level, revel in the shiny and new, only to later crouch down, huddle to the earth, terra firma and terracotta, dirt under our fingernails. My next piece is entitled Aleppo on the Edge of April, but before I start reading the poem, I'd like to give some translations to some Arabic words that may not be familiar. Please, my apologies for my accent, as Arabic is neither my first nor second language. Bakdash, a Syrian ice cream shop in Damascus. Lissa Fakir, do you remember? Also a famous Kulthum song. Mashallah, an expression or cry of joy, praise, or gratitude. Maktub translates as to fate. Bismillah, the opening of the Quran, quote, in the name of Allah, close quote. And Farhana, Arabic for happy or joyful. Aleppo, on the edge of April. It's the edge of April, and May is only a day away, but the only message in their minds is Mayday, Mayday. An SOS was sent out ages ago, years ago, hundreds of burials ago. What fuels unending war? What oil greases the wheels of death, breathes life into machines of destruction? At some point, maybe no one has the time for dog tags or toe tags, when no one can run to fetch the body blown to bits near what was once a bakery. In a war zone, life is no longer sweet nor savory. There are no flowers for burial sites when scorched earth cradles no trees to bear bloom, no trees, no fruit. What will they remember? Crouched under a table, what will they remember? Huddled under the laughable term support beam. Will they remember rose-flavored ice cream? Oh, those walks to Bakdash might as well been a millennia ago. Lovers new, lovers old, Lissa Fakir, to think they were afraid to steal a kiss, thinking one's honor would go amiss, to think they were once so afraid to hold hands, and now there are so few hands left to hold. And for every Fatima who dreamed of wedding day gold, languishing in large dresses of lace and drowning in a sea of perfume that says more in public than any bride would. But there's no need to dream. There's no cries of mashallah, no stories of maktub. What price pays fate in between shelling and drilling and the cloying scent of charred flesh in the souk? Today there is no city of brass. Marbled walls and marbled halls cannot give refuge. Who will hear our Bismillah over sounds of sirens, over silent tears? A single sandal lies in the road, but this is no Cinderella shoe. There is no happy ending.
Farhana doesn't live here. My next piece is The Whisper of Tako. For the sake of clarifying terms that are not in English, they are as follows. Tako is the Japanese word for octopus. Désolé is a French way of expressing an apology or remorse. And Shiva is the Indian Hindu god of both creation and destruction. The Whisper of Tako. There is a difference between desolate and désolé, and I know the difference. There is a difference between captivating and being captive. There is a difference in one losing control of the wheel and one choosing to drive off a cliff. There is a difference in innocently pulling a thread to keep a line clean. It's not the same as unraveling what's sewn, undoing another's meticulous handiwork. Those who know Shiva understand the responsibility of creation paired with the weight of destruction. There's irony in those who light a candle in love with its glow, and it in turn burns the house down. An irony that caregivers who help often get burnt out from the process of sometimes obligatory assistance. The Japanese who love the shiny and space age still meditate on the joys of wabi-sabi, relish the worn, uneven, and weathered, a heart subjected to the same, frayed on the edges, faded by tears, worn by taunts and threats. This heart is still beautiful, even if it's been softened by the sandpaper of disappointment and the spray of others' carelessly chosen words. They stain like the ink of a fearful octopus pushed deep into an ocean crevice.
So most people know the Paniolo Prince or Kahoano-Kekoa as that super eloquent Kanaka Maoli educator who talked to Anthony Bourdain when he came to Hawaii and visited the island of Molokai. And when Anthony Bourdain asked the question, who gets to be Hawaiian? The Paniolo Prince responded in the most eloquent way. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out on YouTube. Go check out that episode of Parts Unknown. The Paniolo Prince is not only Kanaka Maoli, but also a descendant of the Kingdom of Uchu and is raised by strong Okinawan matriarchs. He tells me that he thinks of the homeland of his tutu in Okinawa on the daily. Let's listen to his contributions. Mahalo, Paniolo Prince.
Aloha, what's up to all my brothers and teachers keeping it real? Hano hano naeu, the Paniolo Prince. This one is for all the Okinawans, Hawaiians, everybody. I love nature. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Huli Maka flip this. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Huli Maka flip this. When you see me reach for my sword, think, oh Lord, he's about to sever my brain from a spinal cord with a draw that is deadly fast. Blast and flash, whiplash, slipping right past your vision and eyeglass gash. Slicing cleanly through your neck, splash. Blood splattering all around and your head crash. Rolling off, tumbling on the ground like trash. An amateur who got their dreams dashed. You wasn't ready, you was acting rash. Not enough skill, practice, or discipline, only lip and sass. Thought you'd make some fame, make a name, maybe make some cash. Being the one to take out Prince Paniolo's ass. Just an unworthy opponent who got thrashed. Ran out of gas, crashed, outclassed real fast. Difference between Jonin and Genin class. Working on the ground level or hanging up with the brass. Have your name up in big lights or on the back page in memory of on Sunday Mass. Now you know why they call me Mr. Unbreakable. You just found out your call it ass was Mr. Glass. I'm one of the broadest bash, making a big splash. Hanging, banging, fools are furious and fast. Puff, puff, when all the smoke clears, I'll be the Ronin, man standing, laughing last. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist, and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Hulimaka flip this. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist, and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Hulimaka flip this. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist, and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Hulimaka flip this. Heads rolling off from the Jedi alchemist, and the one swinging sword, the Paniolo Prince. Watch as I grip it, rip it, and hit this. Alchemized gangster rap, Hulimaka flip this.
What? We're so lucky today that we have Sachi, who has chosen Bridging Resistance to debut herself as a spoken word artist. Sachi has roots in the big island of Hawaii and comes to us currently from Tokyo. Big snaps up for Sachi.
This poem is called I Hope You Don't Come Around. He says that I should go to church with him, that I would like it. He says that Jesus loves me and that if I just accept his love, I'd feel bliss. He says that my religion is weird, wrong, dangerous, evil, and outdated. He says that my religion is not even a real religion. He says that to be modern, to get with the times, that I should be Christian. He says that Christianity is a sign of progress, of development. He says that I should look at all the wonderful things Christians are doing around the world, all the schools they're building, all the souls they're saving. She says she's not like him because she's an atheist and she votes blue. She says that all religion is dumb, only for the gullible and small-minded. She says that she believes in science, that science is neutral, universal, and always good, obvi. She says that I'm just like him because my view of science is broader and more complex. She says there's no such thing as indigenous science, that measurable and observable data is the only thing that counts. She says that what I do is culture, and culture shouldn't get in the way of science, of progress. She says that she's not like him because she can't see all the ways that she totally is. He says he's having doubts about his religion, that I'm a good person, so it makes him sad to think that I'm going to hell. He says that he's not so sure anymore, that maybe the Bible doesn't need to be interpreted literally. He says his newfound uncertainty means that he's agnostic, so he checks the no religious affiliation box and gets counted as a religious minority. He says that he still celebrates Easter, says YOLO, and looks up when he prays. But he says that for now, he's not a Christian, just like me. She says she's woke and she's deeply concerned about diversity and inclusion. She invites me to her bullshit panel on religious diversity, where I'm literally the only person there who was raised with a non-Christian religion. She says I should explain what I believe, what book I deem sacred, what holidays I celebrate. She says I'm being difficult when I say that shit doesn't matter to me, that I'd rather talk about my grandparents and institutionalized Christian supremacy. She's offended when I say that she's culturally Christian and therefore benefits from Christian privilege. She talks over me and doesn't invite me back. He says he's married now and a family man, that he's found Jesus again. He says that his period of doubt was the devil testing him and he prevailed. He says that his wife is Asian, just like me, and he's learned new ways to approach me based on a more culturally inclusive theology. He says that his religious freedoms are under attack because I'm asking him to please not proselytize to my children at their elementary school. He says that the Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, so what am I complaining about? I should be grateful for the right to be who I am. He also says that Christian values are an important part of US heritage, and how dare I try to change that. He says he'll pray for me, that he loves the sinner but hates the sin. He's planted the seed, and he hopes I come around. She says that she's a mom now, that her kids are baptized. She says it's not religious, she's still above that, it was just to make her family happy. She says the same thing about the Christian funeral she arranged for her father. It's what he wanted. She says that all the systems in place to support those rituals are just natural deferrals to the majority, certainly not Christian privilege, no. She says her kids go to a Christian preschool because, well, it was just the most convenient option. She says she's still raising them with an appreciation for and a healthy critique of all religions. She says she's an anti-Islamophobia advocate, but that really secularism is the way forward, and she hopes we all come around. What do I say, you ask? I say that my religions, yes, plural, are based on systems of spiritual knowledge passed on genealogically for millennia. I say that asking me to abandon that for your Jesus is akin to destroying my family. Is that what you want, family man? I say that all of this missionary work you're doing, all those schools you're building, all those souls you're saving is killing off entire cultures. I say there's nothing modern or developed about your exclusivist, hierarchical, anthropocentric view of the world. I say that I see the world as a pluriverse, where all knowledge is contextual, where nothing is neutral or universally relevant. That's right, not even science. I say that your hatred of all religion is based on your narrow-minded idea that all religions are like Christianity. I say that theistic belief and sacred texts are far less important than ceremony and relationships. I say that no matter what I choose to believe now, my childhood and my family will not be erased. You know what else I say? I say that my great-grandparents came here trying to save their own lives, only to find themselves in a cruel system of indentured servitude. I say that when the bombing started, they were immediately under suspicion, not only because of where they came from, but especially because they were not Christian. I say that the history of excluding non-Christians and defining them as inferior is a core pillar of the American project. I say that my grandparents were forced to attend Christian schools and Christian services to prove their loyalty, to survive. I say it must have taken a lot for them to resist conversion under those circumstances, and I'm so thankful they did. I say that today, when people who look like them aren't Christian, they're still blamed for being weird, foreign, or old school. I say that the crushing weight of Christian supremacy is still as heavy as it's always been, and fuck, it's exhausting just to stand up under it. I say that it's not just about Christians proselytizing, as violent as that is. It's that you don't even see how deep the Christian supremacy is. It's that I have to spend so much time and energy explaining it to you, only for you to go, meh. It's that you tell me it's not appropriate to talk about it, that it's not the kind of research or curriculum you want to support. It's that when you see the problems with Christian supremacy, a slightly better version of Christianity is always your solution. It's that you don't recognize how Western secularism is still culturally Christian, that the need to own and monetize is culturally Christian, that the belief in a singular universal truth, be it God or science, is culturally Christian. I say that I'm tired, and if all you want to do is tell me I'm wrong, please don't come around here.
Kauwila is a teacher, poet, kia'i or protector of Aina, as well as community organizer. She shares with us two very important pieces today. One combining the language of the colonizer in English as well as her native language of Olelo, Hawaii. The other is a letter that she's written to DC Comics out of the concern of the way that they portrayed the Naue, who is actually an ancestor of many Kanaka Maoli. Mahalo e Kauwila.
Superboy King Shark, Give It a Rest, introduced in the 90s. Violate our secret spaces, ignore our brown faces. This is not no Western institution platform or Proud Boy dorm. And speaking from Pai Aina o Hawaii, and if you knew, then you would review. I am mano a ohe nana ike kumupali, e nana ika pua, pua ka vili vili na nahu ka mano. E aha kau ililo ai, I kau miliona. E ho ihi. This is for Carl Kessel and director James Dunn, DC. O kane hoalani he kane. Noho o hau mea ka wahine, hanau mai o ka moali'i he kane. O ka moali'i, Hekane no ho'okale kawahine. Hanau mai o nanawe. Dear Carl Kessel, I'm writing to you in regards to the character that you created, or it says that you created the character Nanawe. The son of Kamuali'i, my tutu's clan or genealogical ties are part of Yaka and Pele. A connection to Kamuali'i. The similarities of Shark King, in reference to his father's name and his name is not too uncanny to the Hawaiian shark son of Kamuali'i. In Hawaii, many na kanaka, Maoli Hawaii consider the mano as an ancestor, and it is very private and an intimate connection. Our ancestors are not for you or DC Comics to misappropriate or make fun of. Nanawe's character shows him as someone that cannot read. I will have you know that our people, the human descendants of these celestial beings, had a high literacy rate before the overthrow of Hawaiian kingdom, and that not only was Nanawe skilled, cunning, but very handsome. Furthermore, in today's society, sharks are still being killed, hunted, and harassed. The Jaws imagery of our Amakua is offensive. There are many stories that I could tell you, but hesitate to tell you, because I'm not sure if you're gonna make millions off of it and just commodify it, prostitute it, put it in a little brown bag, you know, like usual, right? Our culture is not for commodification, and it's not up for prostitution. E ho'ihi, mahalo.
This next artist is coming to you straight out of British Columbia, but has deep roots in the kingdom of Luchu. This next artist is an indigenous educator, author, and poet. And today we have a real treat because we get to hear his poetry and his own voice. Welcome to this show. We bring to you Show Yamagushiku.
Hi Sai. Chu Ganabira. One Show Yamagushiku Yaibin. I want to start with a couple words by a Canadian poet by way of Trinidad, Dion Brand. She says, "Too much has been made of origins. Origins are arbitrary. And so if I reject this notion of origins, I have also to reject its mirror, which is the sense of origins used by the powerless to contest power in a society." And to this, I want to add, to be Nikkei means to be willing to destroy all of the things that constitute or make up being Nikkei. I think there are a lot of rigid boundaries based on blood and language, nation, citizenship, passport, the way you look, the way you talk, the amount of money you have, that constitute belonging in our community. And I think that, to me, if I'm going to use the word Nikkei, it means that I'm willing to give up all of those things. Because I think oftentimes the way that we form community is a mirror to the nation state of Imperial Japan. And so even though we're separated by an ocean, and even though we think the emperor has nothing to do with us, we actually use these terms. And in some ways they were defined and created by the US government during the incarceration period. But they're also convenient for us, I believe. So I want to take some time to really think. And I wanted to read these poems today in darkness, because we often speak of the incarceration as a time of darkness, as though that's terrible, as though it's a bad thing, as though creation doesn't come from a place of darkness. And I think it's convenient in our society that we've aligned all things dark as bad. And so what if we spoke of the incarceration as a time of absolute whiteness and lightness? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's a different kind of violence. And so I think part of this work is walking into the darkness, the unknown. There's a lot of pressure to know. The Academy has put that on us as researchers, as people in community, to know facts. The darkness cannot be perceived, and I think there's a lot of value there. So I want to read a couple poems, and they're my way of grappling and understanding the things that have been imposed on me from people, and that then I have internalized and lived. I start thinking about land, how I got here. If you center the white man, you might tell the story like this. We are so proud that our ancestors came to this continent as hard-working fishers and stoic farmers in the face of brilliant white hatred. But if you center the cosmos, in other words, you might tell the story like this. We came into someone else's earth body with no permission to harness and take ownership of land and resources, to build lives of empire and concrete. And so I left behind a world that was living and vibrant. I lost my connection with earth. Impenetrable sadness in the cliff-swept breeze. He leaves his island behind for this land of lines. An ache always for the spiral of return in the riptide. But 9,000 moons will fall and rise in darkness, and he will have let the teachings go. Faintly, tracing a memory of bones ground to sand, compounded into coral and then submerged to sea. Our first ones who never lost their reverence, the safekeepers of every kind of elemental blue. But what will they say when I return to them as a sliver, a shadow, bearing nothing but this new world's shame? So the nation had a hold on me. And there is a monster on my back who hoists the Japanese flag into my spine every morning. I am petrified now, and I do not remember how to get home. So there are ways of prayer, but prayer is a difficult thing. As I entered the shrine, I lost my name. I said the sutra as the spirits swarmed. The language I lost left a crater in my heart, and then my blood ran cold. I could smell the sea breeze, yet it no longer moved me. Surely, you know what it feels like to no longer be alive. So I try to remember that history wanted me to be the victim. That's what I was inherited in critical race and ethnic studies. But I'm capable of a lot of violence as well. And that's not to deny my personhood. That's just to return to balance. And so I'm really grateful to Katana and all the folks at JAMP for helping us think differently. Nihei debiru totu kanashi.
E ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai.
Tadaima, I have returned home. For far too long I have felt all alone. Okairi, I see and feel your history. Know that you are welcome in this shelter to be free. Tadaima. I'm not the enemy. Silent and strong, he never said it. But when he told his story deep in his eyes, I read it. The irony is he considered himself lucky. Ugly were times for Nikkei in this country. And finally it struck me, how could they be so unjust? To a boy who loved baseball with a rice bowl haircut, that's what happened back then. If you look like us, guilty without legal due process, families incarcerated in dust, from Tule Lake to Manzanar, Honolulu Roundup, a story not told in their books. Hold your head up when you get those dirty looks and when they stretch their eyes. But what you most despise are the lies that eat away at your pride. Bombs dropped on Pearl Harbor, the smoke is blinding. 17 sites in the islands were used for profiling. Uchina Kibe, a Shinto priestess, spoke broken English, and the children. They called them camps, but these were barbed wired prisons that most Nikkei in Hawaii never had to live in. An abuse of privilege or survival. Lateral violence is when your kin is your rival. The no-no boys accused of disloyalty. Katonk versus Buddha Head, mainland versus Hawaii. The division is beside me, but the rift is real. We need spaces that are safe to come together and heal. Tadaima, I have returned home. For far too long I have felt all alone. Okairi, I see and feel your history. Know that you are welcome in this shelter to be free. Tadaima.